Last-minute fashion fixes.
Get it together. Phillip's always there to help.
You know what happens to even us too, the host of this show. All right. Well, hopefully everybody on the red carpet has a friend like Phillip Bloch, because before the Oscar hopefuls pick up their golden statues, they have to first sashay down the red carpet, and the question of the night becomes not who's going to win, but what are you wearing and who are you wearing?
And here to dish on this year's Oscar fashion predictions based on previous award shows is fashion expert Phillip Bloch. Welcome back, as always.
I need you to walk down the red carpet with me.
Exactly,
Thank
exactly.
you so much.
We don't want any wardrobe malfunctions.
No wardrobe malfunctions. There won't be any slips over here anyway.
No.
We can be sure of that. First of all, what can we really expect from the fashions this year? What are the trends?
High-end glamour. You know, people always ask, what are the trends at the Oscars? Gowns. You know, I mean, it's really about gowns, and now in a time where it's all about personal style, it really depends on the person, what they're going to go for. You know, it's about the designer names. We're going to see Dior. We're probably going to see some Elie Saab. We're going to see some Zuhair Murad. J-Lo will be there. That's her favorite.
Okay.
Some Armani, some Valentino. You know, it's about the names, but the trends have really sort of gotten smaller.
Okay. Well, you mentioned a lot of designer names. Can we expect to see a lot of new emerging designers also represented?
I don't really think so. There's not
risky?
a lot of great emerging designers out there in this category. Nominated for this category.
Well, you know, I mean, you talked about Zuhair Murad. You know, there's some more established designers, Oscar de la Renta, Carolina Herrera. How much preparation usually goes into, though, putting together the whole entire look from head to toe?
Some people it takes weeks, and some people you only get a couple days. You know, they're still announcing presenters right up until, I think, yesterday or the day before. And it's always very interesting. People don't realize this. This is a show. This is a show. It's not just about the awards. So they look for their diversity. As you look into the presenters, like we didn't have any African American or Black people nominated, really. There were no Black women. So what do we have as presenters? We have Kerry Washington. We have Viola Davis. We have Octavia Spencer. Yeah. They kind of add the color in the presenters, or the flavor, shall we say.
Right, well, let's definitely talk about those later, but we also want to get to the specific actresses that are nominated for some of the categories. For example, we have Felicity Jones for Theory of Everything. Now, she's one of the youngest people who's going to be there represented this year. Should she keep it young and hip, or should she try to go safe with a statement gown?
She seems to go for very structured. Like at the Golden Globes, she wore Dior. She wore this beautiful blue spruce colored, very structured, covered up. She's a real fashion girl, but she's not like a sexy fashion girl. She's a fashion girl. And then she wore Balenciaga for the SAG Awards, and then she wore Dior again at the BAFTAs. Very covered up, very closed, very regal.
Yeah.
She's a regal dresser.
What about Julianne Moore? We know that she always stuns.
Julianne Moore. She stuns.
Yes.
She is just fabulous. I've worked with her many times over the years, and she's been to the Oscars before. This is actually her 5th nomination.
Wow.
So I loved her at the Golden Globes. She wore Givenchy, that silver dress with like the bluish gray as it ombre down, was beautiful with the feathers. She wore Givenchy at the SAG Awards. Absolutely stunning, that green. She wears an emerald green.
Aubergine and emerald green. Those are her colors.
And she wore emerald green when she's been at the Oscars before, so I doubt she'll do it again this time. And then just recently at the BAFTA, she wore Tom Ford, who's a good friend of hers. He directed her.
A Single Man.
Yes, in A Single Man, and she wore this plunging red neckline. She looks so gorgeous in red. I love her in that.
As a redhead, she does.
Yeah,
she
maybe
does,
she'll
but
go for red again.
She'll wear a pop of color. She wore that day glow dress to the Golden Globes one time. She really throws.
You love her. All right, we got to talk about some of these other ladies.
Okay, so what about Reese Witherspoon? She's nominated for Wild, but will her dress be tamed?
Well, Reese, again, she's a lady. She dresses elegant. She's been wearing a lot of white lately. At the SAG Awards, she wore Armani at the SAG Awards. Beautiful, one shoulder. She wore Calvin Klein at the Golden Globes, which was really beautiful. That was beaded, simple chic, kind of a whitish silver color. So she's been going in that direction. And when she actually won a few years ago for Walk the Line, she wore a vintage Christian Dior. But there was a whole scandal about that because it wasn't really vintage, and somebody else had worn it a year or two before.
Well, Jennifer Aniston tried to do vintage recently, and I don't know that worked out so well.
Vintage is supposed to be 25 years older.
Yeah, like older.
Yeah, I'm vintage. Very.
Let's talk about Emma Stone and Best Supporting Actress. She and like the likes of like Anna Kendrick and stuff, they've been wearing a lot of pants lately on the red carpet. Is Oscars a time to wear pants or no?
Emma Stone is cutting edge. Everything she does is perfect, and we've really kind of seen her evolve as a style girl. You know, the last time she went to the Oscars, she wore Dior in 2000 something or other. It was a couple of years ago. Red big bow, very beautiful. But the last couple times she's been in Dior or Lanvin, Jean-Baptiste Valli. She's wearing these kind of the French names.
Sure.
And she wore the pants with the bow kind of hanging with the drape on the side, really beautiful. And then at the SAG Awards, she wore this beautiful Dior with the long blazer and the sheer skirt. So she does something cutting edge, something unexpected, and it takes a certain girl like that to carry that off.
Yeah, sort of the it girl.
Yeah, she's the it fashion girl.
Yeah, I don't think Patricia Arquette would be going cutting edge.
No.
But I'm sure she'll wear something very different from what she wore in the movies.
Yes. Well, she's been doing a lot of cleavage. You know, she's got a little matronly over the years.
She's buxom.
Yeah, she's buxom. There you go. She's a body wench.
Right.
You know, but she accentuates the waist, showing a lot of cleavage and chest is really good for her. I think she's a winner. I mean, she's won every award along the way.
All right, here's a little wafy fashionista,
Yes.
Keira Knightley, of course. Now, we know that Chanel is her sponsor, so of course she's going to wear those, but I hope she doesn't wear any moss on her dress like she did recently.
Oh, my gosh. She has just been getting it wrong. Pregnancy is, you know, some women glow when they're pregnant. This has not been the case for Keira. You know, she looks beautiful, but she looks like she's having a hard pregnancy. You just see it in her face on the pictures on the red carpet. And she didn't go to a couple of the award shows early on because she was having a tough time. And the dresses have not been good.
Maybe she can stick to something simple with Chanel.
Yeah, the SAG Awards was really beautiful. She did this aubergine dress. She didn't even go to the BAFTAs recently. So it'll be interesting to see what she wears.
What about the guys?
Yeah, it seems like the guys never get any love at the Oscars. They're like,
The outfits are boring.
They're boring.
They're
Okay,
boring.
well,
Matthew McConaughey, there's your man to
Okay.
watch. You know, Jared Leto and Matthew will be back. Their outfits are something to watch. You know, Matthew.
I love this blue.
Yeah,
It's
Matthew
mine.
spices it up. He brings it. But again, he's the Dolce & Gabbana spokesperson, so he knows how to step up his style. And he, you know, he's a wild guy. You know, he likes to have fun.
All right.
And Camilla, that's the one to watch.
I was just about to say.
okay.
Camilla.
She
Really steps it up for him.
She steps it up. She's the best accessory.
I was about to say. What about some of the presenters? We were saying earlier, Viola Davis, Kerry Washington. What are these folks going to be wearing?
These are ones to watch, and this is where you get the flavor. And this is where the casting goes into the show. You know, the nominees are the nominees, but this is where they get diversity in age, in ethnicity. I think Viola Davis has been just stunning, you know, and she's been to the Oscars before. Back in 2012, she wore that green Vera Wang, and she did something very iconic at that moment. She went without her wig. She wore very simple makeup because she wanted people to see her for her. So let's see what she does tonight. I bet the wig will be back on Sunday. And
She made her point.
Yeah,
Yes.
one of my favorites, of course, Kerry Washington, but it's sometimes hit and miss with her.
Yeah, she's been to the Oscars before. In 2013, she wore Miu Miu. It was beautiful. It was this little pink and kind of watermelon color dress with a little embellishment up there. It was Prada, really beautiful. And then she wore Jason Wu in 2014. She was very pregnant. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That was one of the best looks I think she ever had. But then at the Golden Globes this year, you liked it, but I wasn't a big fan.
Not a huge fan. We also
enough.
know we got Oprah and Zoe Saldana, and who else? I mean,
Oprah, you know, Oprah loves a big, wide open neckline. She's been to the Oscars many, many times herself. You know, and she wears, you know, she likes to wear like Ferré. She'll wear something Valentino. She's done Vera Wang. She loves a color and something very open, very stately and elegant. Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes, last year's favorite.
Last year's favorite, fashion darling, in that blue Prada that, you know, she made us all valid. All our dreams became valid. But the dresses have not been quite right since then. And,
Really?
you know, there was that thing at the Met Gala, that Prada thing with the feathers. That was Livin' La Vida Loca, Livin' La Vida Lupita Loca. And then this Elie Saab dress that she wore recently. Some loved it, some didn't. Not my favorite. It looked like an odd test, you know, on the TV.
Right, okay.
You know, it was not my favorite. Zoe Saldana, always, again, another fashion it girl.
It girl.
But she takes a little risk, though, right?
Lots
she does
of
a little
risks.
different? Okay.
Something a little different. So we could look to her for something special, something that you go,
But, Philip, is this the right time to be taking a risk for her and anyone else?
Well,
It's
if
the
you're
Oscars.
Bjork in a swan dress, no. If you're Zoe Saldana in Givenchy, yes.
Okay, sounds good. We'll be watching to see who gets it right and who gets it wrong.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be quite a few rights and too many
The
wrong.
misses
Yeah.
are always a part of the hits as well.
right.
Phillip Bloch, thanks so much for
My
joining
pleasure.
us with Oscar Fashion tonight.
Definitely. We'll be right back with more Rise Entertainment 360.